Hi everyone. Today I want to tell you a true story that happened to me. It's about love, secrets, and making hard choices. This story happened at the hospital where I work. Before I start, let me tell you this story changed my whole life. And wait until you hear the ending. It's not what you expect. Grab a drink or a snack, and let's talk about how one person can change everything. Hello friends, I'm Rachel and I work as a nurse. Before I tell you my story, let me say hello to all my regular viewers. You're amazing. And if you're new here, welcome to our family. This is a place where we share real stories about life. Don't forget to make yourself comfortable. This is going to be an interesting ride. Let me tell you about my simple life before everything I'm 33 years old and I work at City Hospital. My life was very regular. Every morning, I would wake up at a.m., make my coffee, and get ready for work. Being a nurse isn't easy. We work really hard. Some days I work in the morning, other days at night. I help people who are sick, give them medicine, and try to make them feel better. After work, I would often drive to see my mom. She lives in a small village about 30 minutes away. Her house is small but cozy, with pretty flowers in the garden. She's getting older now, so I help her with shopping and cleaning. Sometimes we just sit and drink tea together. I lived by myself in a small apartment. No boyfriend, no pet, just me. My apartment was quiet. Too quiet sometimes. Every day was the same: work, mom, home, sleep, then work again. I was a bit lonely, but I was okay with my quiet life. Then one day, everything changed. Our hospital got a new doctor. His name was Dr. Jake, and he was different from other doctors. He was 31 years old, 2 years younger than me. He had friendly brown hair that always looked nice, and bright blue eyes that made you feel happy when he looked at you. The special thing about Dr. Jake was his smile. He smiled all the time, and it wasn't a fake smile. It was warm and real. When he smiled, his eyes got little wrinkles at the corners, and you could tell he really meant it. All the nurses liked him because he was so nice to everyone. He remembered everyone's names, even the cleaning staff. He always said thank you to everyone. At first, I didn't think he would notice me. Why would he? I wear simple clothes, have regular shoulder-length hair, and I'm not super thin like movie stars. I'm just normal. But then something amazing started happening. Every morning when I came to work, Dr. Jake would say, "Good morning, Rachel." He remembered my name from day one. Soon he started asking me little questions about my day. "How was your evening, Rachel? Did you watch that new show everyone's talking about?" Simple questions, but they made me feel special. One rainy evening, when I was getting ready to go home, Dr. Jake saw me in the hall. "Rachel, it's raining hard. Do you want a ride home?" he asked. His car was nice and clean, and it smelled like pine trees. We talked the whole way to my apartment. He was so easy to talk to. We talked about our favorite foods. He loves pizza with pineapple. Can you believe it? About our families, about funny things that happened at work. After that first ride home, things changed even more. He would bring me coffee in the morning. He remembered I like it with just a little milk. During lunch breaks, we would sit together in the hospital cafeteria. Sometimes we talked, sometimes we just ate quietly, but it always felt nice, like we didn't need to try hard to be friends. One Friday, Dr. Jake seemed a bit nervous when he came to talk to me. "Rachel," he said, Would you like to see a movie this weekend? They're showing that new comedy everyone's talking about. My heart started beating fast. Was this a date? I said yes. We met at the movie theater on Saturday. He was wearing jeans and a blue sweater. He looked so different from his doctor clothes. The movie was funny, but the best part came after. We went for a walk in the park near the theater. The weather was perfect, not too warm, not too cold. We walked and talked for hours. He told me about his dreams of opening his own clinic someday. I told him about wanting to travel to different countries. Time passed so quickly when I was with him, but then came the day that changed everything. Dr. Jake asked to talk to me privately. We went to the hospital garden. He looked serious, not smiling like usual. "Rachel," he said, "I need to tell you something important." My heart was beating fast again, but this time it wasn't happy beating. "I'm married," he said. The words hit me like cold water. Married? How could he be married? He never wore a ring. He never talked about a wife. He told me more. Her name was Sophie. They had been married for 5 years. No children. He said they weren't happy together anymore. They liked different things. They hardly talked. He said being with me made him feel alive again. A week later, I was at the big supermarket doing my shopping. I was in the fruit section, picking apples, when I heard a familiar laugh. I looked up, and there they were, Dr. Jake and his wife Sophie. She was beautiful, like a movie star, tall and thin, wearing fancy clothes that looked expensive. Her hair was perfect. They were laughing together, looking like the perfect couple. I left my shopping cart right there and walked out. My eyes were full of tears. I didn't want them to see me. I drove home feeling confused and sad. That night was the longest night of my life. I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about everything. About Dr. Jake's kind smile. About his wife's perfect hair. About all our talks and laughs. About how he never told me he was married. I felt silly for thinking someone like him would want someone like me. But then I felt angry too. Why did he let me believe we could be something more? The next day at work was hard. When Dr. Jake smiled at me, I couldn't smile back. During lunch, I told him we needed to talk. "I saw you and Sophie at the store," I said. His face changed when I said her name. He tried to explain. He said his marriage was ending anyway. He said I made him happy. He said we could still be together. But I knew in my heart what I had to do. I called my best friend Jenny that evening. Jenny always tells me the truth, even when it's hard to hear. She listened to my whole story. Then she said something I'll never forget. "Rachel, you deserve someone who can give you their whole heart, not just pieces of it." When I met Dr. Jake the next day, I was ready. My hands were shaking, but my voice was strong. I told him I couldn't be with someone who was married. I told him it wasn't right. It was the hardest thing I ever had to say, but I knew it was right. Sometimes the hardest choice and the right choice are the same thing. Yes, I liked Dr. Jake. Yes, being with him made me happy, but I needed to be true to myself. I needed to be someone I could be proud of when I look in the mirror. Thank you for staying with me until the end of my story. Friends, life isn't always easy, but we have to be brave and do what's right. If you liked my story, please give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to hear more real life stories. Tell me in the comments, what would you do if you were me? See you in my next video. Remember, friends, Choose what makes you proud of yourself. Sending you all my